Hey guys, welcome back to Natural Page. It's Mama Mondays. In today's video, I am going to be talking about that liquid gold, colostrum. I know some of you are like, huh? So in the last trimester of your pregnancy, you may notice that your breast will be secreting this fluid that looks a little yellow. It's kind of sticky, and this is called colostrum. It's actually the first secretion from your mammary glands, and this is what you get before actual breast milk. Now, why is colostrum important? Colostrum holds those antibodies and immunities that your baby's gonna need in those first few days of life. The reason that I'm talking about it today though is I want to share my experience. So I actually expressed colostrum before I gave birth. You're probably just like, why in the world would you do that? That's kind of weird. I knew that I wanted my Yeet to be exclusively breastfed. However, there was a possibility that my milk would take a while to come in, and I also wanted to make sure that I had something for him in hospital so that I wouldn't feel pressured to give him formula in the hospital. So what I did, I actually used to express once a night some colostrum so that I would store it up, freeze it, and I carried it with me to the hospital. I bought these little travel containers from Fontano. Now the first thing about colostrum that you need to know is that it does not squirt out. It is not something that is just in abundance and it's a lot. And if you expect that, you're going to be really frustrated. So what I would do is that each night after my shower, I'd have my teaspoon. You hear what I said? Teaspoon. You know that little small tiny spoon? And I'd have my travel size container. I would literally hand express, meaning I would pump my boob. And when I'm saying like not on the nip itself, but like squeezing out, it was so tedious, and this would take me about an hour. I would pump my boob, pump the colostrum into the teaspoon, pour it off into this, and it took so long. Like, oh my gosh, it took so long. It would take me about an hour just to fill this up. Very, very tedious, but totally worth it, because when I went into the hospital, I actually did need it. There were times where I was really tired and I just wanted the nurse to take him, but I didn't want them to cup feed him with formula. And that was how he was able to be fed, not by me, but by the nurses, with the colostrum that I had stored up. Now, a couple things to note. If you're expressing colostrum, especially in those final weeks of a pregnancy, you may actually start having some contractions, and it will kind of freak you out because it freaked me out. But that is totally normal, because the same way as well when you're actually breastfeeding in those first couple weeks, you feel your uterus contracting. Now, what are the benefits of expressing colostrum? What it allowed for me was the knowledge that I didn't have to be the only one to feed him. That if I needed a break, or if my breast got sore, my nipples got sore to the point where they were cracked or anything like that, if he had issues latching, at least I knew that until we had a good latch, until we had a good breastfeeding rhythm, he would be able to get only what was coming from my body. I did not want him to be formula fed at all. I would recommend that you can start probably about week 36, 37 in your pregnancy to start expressing the colostrum. That will allow that you can store up a good amount, and it also allows you the freedom that if you want to stop, you can. I did about 8 of these and I stored them up, and I didn't use all of them, so you don't have to worry about that. And the good thing with using these little containers as well was the fact that I didn't have to worry about wasting when I defrosted, because if I had done it in something bigger, once you defrost it, you have to use all of it. And the size of the baby's tummy in the first few days is the size of a marble, like this big. So can you imagine defrosting a huge container and then you can't use it? Which was why these are perfect. They really and truly allowed me to have just these small portions of milk to be able to feed my Yeet. I just want to encourage any mama who is thinking about it, really and truly do some research. I do recommend it highly. If you only want to breastfeed and you don't want to supplement with formula, then definitely express some colostrum beforehand. You can check out a video on hand expressing, because that in and of itself is that was a whole thing to learn. It was a really rewarding experience for me to be able to go in confident with the nurses and say, you know, I have this and I don't want him to be given any water or any formula. Please just use my colostrum. It was such a great feeling knowing that I had prepared and that I was ready for him. So one of the biggest myths that's out there re colostrum is that if you express it before you give birth, then there will be none left when the baby is there. Not true. You have colostrum from about week 37 and it continues until your milk comes in, which is not until about day 3 or 4 after the baby's here. You do not have to worry that you will run out. That's it for today's Mama Mondays. If you guys like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below. Thanks for making it naturally finished.